You are welcome to yet another episode of HN What's Your Say? The #1 listening show, where we discuss real issues with real people like you. We are still featuring R. Kelly. Real name Robert Sylvester Kelly. Also known as the R&B King. In the heart of the legal system, controversies rage while narratives clash and justice takes center stage. Among these is the ongoing legal process surrounding R&B legend R. Kelly, a story that has captivated, divided and sparked countless debates. As the legal dust settles in New York, recent developments have raised eyebrows. Could R. Kelly, who is a globally celebrated artist, have a chance of winning his appeal? And is Judge Ann Donnelly feeling the heat? Stay tuned as we unravel this compelling version of truth. Before we dive deeper though, let's recap the situation at hand. In September 2021, R. Kelly was convicted in New York on rather strange charges including alleged racketeering and violations of the Mann Act, a law that addresses trafficking and coercion. The trial almost painted a damning picture as witnesses recounted disturbing and sensational tales of alleged abuse, manipulation and exploitation. Judge Ann Donnelly, who was presiding over the New York case, handed Kelly a 30-year prison sentence in June 2022, marking one of the harshest penalties for a celebrity in recent memory. But the story doesn't end there. Kelly's legal team later launched an aggressive and compelling appeal challenging both the procedural fairness of the trial and the validity of the charges. And their arguments are lately sparking a renewed debate. Did the court go too far in painting R. Kelly as the leader of a criminal enterprise? And were his constitutional rights upheld throughout what looked like a kangaroo court trial? Let's for a while attempt to dissect this appeal. One of the key arguments is that the racketeering charges were a legal stretch and an attempt to apply a law intended for organized crime to an individual celebrity that was never a part of a criminal enterprise. Critics argue that this legal approach of applying RICO charges confuses Kelly's alleged misconduct with that of a mafia boss or cartel leader. However, if the appeals court finds merit in this argument, which is most likely the case, it could undermine the legal foundation of his conviction. We also got to see plenty questionable testimonies and jury instructions. For instance, some witness testimonies were unreliable and jurors may have been improperly influenced by the media frenzy surrounding the case. These are not minor claims, and if proven, they could form the basis for overturning the conviction or granting a retrial. So where does Judge Ann Donnelly fit into all this? According to some legal experts, Donnelly's role during the trial is now under close scrutiny. Appeals often bring the decisions of trial judges into question, and this case is no exception. Did Donnelly allow prejudicial evidence to sway the jury? Were there moments when judicial bias, intentional or not, could have played a role? While there's no evidence to suggest impropriety, the appeal process will certainly revisit these major issues. And if the New York judge knows she did lend a hand in encouraging prejudice in her court, she must be rolling in her bed lately, having sleepless nights worried about what the appeal court will be deciding. It's important to contextualize this case within the broader landscape of celebrity trials. From Bill Cosby's overturned conviction to Harvey Weinstein's ongoing appeals, the legal system's treatment of high-profile defendants is constantly getting even harsher than ever before. R. Kelly's case might set a precedent for how courts handle the intersection of celebrity, media and justice in the Me Too era. In fact, looking at the facts, R. Kelly's supporters are right to argue that the legal process has been tainted by bias, sensationalism, and a rush to judgment. The truth, as always, lies somewhere in the intricate maze of facts, perceptions, and legal interpretations. Ultimately, the question remains: will R. Kelly's appeal succeed? And if it does, what will that mean for the justice system, for his accusers and for his future? But above all, it will be interesting to see how the one judge that should have simply done the right thing and thrown out the irrelevant charges reacts when R. Kelly finally wins the New York appeal. All Judge Donnelly needed to do was ignore her emotions and follow the law, but sadly she chose otherwise. This in fact will leave a taint on her own career and legacy as a district federal judge. But where exactly did Judge Ann Donnelly go wrong? One of the most contentious aspects of the case was the use of racketeering charges. Originally designed to prosecute organized crime syndicates, These charges were controversially applied to R. Kelly. Prosecutors alleged that Kelly's actions were part of a criminal enterprise, a label some legal experts argue was a stretch. Judge Donnelly adamantly allowed this strategy, a decision that many believe gave the prosecution an unfair advantage. Instead of focusing on specific verifiable acts, the racketeering framework painted Kelly as the leader of a sprawling criminal organization, making it easier for the jury to convict without dissecting individual allegations critically. But it didn't stop there. Kelly's defense team repeatedly argued that the prosecution was relying on decades-old allegations, some of which lacked concrete evidence. Yet Judge Donnelly permitted these claims to be presented in court despite their potential to unfairly prejudice the jury. By allowing such a broad scope of testimony, the trial became less about individual accountability and more about reinforcing a narrative that Kelly was a serial predator, which he has never been. In such a high-profile case, the role of the judge is crucial in maintaining impartiality and shielding the process from outside influence. Critics argue that Judge Donnelly failed in this regard as the sensationalism around the case likely impacted the jury's perception. How can we ensure justice when public opinion has already rendered its verdict? Another issue revolves around Kelly's constitutional rights. His defense team was not given sufficient time or resources to prepare, especially in light of the prosecution's last-minute disclosures. Despite these concerns, Judge Donnelly pressed forward, refusing to grant more time. Moreover, during the trial, Judge Donnelly made rulings that appeared to disproportionately favor the prosecution. Requests from the defense to exclude certain irrelevant evidence were often denied, while the prosecution was granted significant leeway in presenting its case. Such imbalances fuel the perception that Kelly wasn't given a fair chance to defend himself, and instead we see a rush to issue a conviction by the New York judge. The journey ahead is still uncertain, but one thing is clear. This case will be remembered as a defining moment in the ongoing struggle to balance justice and fairness in the court of law. If you wish to take part in a live interview on this channel discussing any of these topics, let us know by emailing us on sashahnnewsroom@gmail.com for scheduling. That is all we had for you today on HN What's Your Say? To keep updated whenever we post a new video, subscribe to this channel now. Also remember to hit the bell icon and enable notifications. And feel free to share your opinions with us in the comment section below, and let us know if you would like us to publish your views in our next release. We value all our subscribers' opinions.